that time once again to do the Hot Pass podcast, the Friday morning betting show. Now, try to do it earlier today. Girlfriend comes home. Dogs are barking. Too much shit going on. All right, so we got to do it once again, late again. So, got to do it quick. Got to be a little quiet. But I just want to talk about one thing. But before that, welcome to the Hot Pass Podcast Friday morning betting show. I hope you guys end up having a very successful weekend. It's been highs and lows this year so far. Extreme highs at Texas with Sam Mayer, and then extreme lows some weekends with not hitting a single fucking bet. But when we hit highs, oh boy, it's skyrocketed. 26 units with Sam Mayer winning the race. AJ Allmendinger top fives. We get Denny in the clash. We get all sorts of stuff. Well, let's keep this ride going. Last week at Talladega, we finished second with Brad Keselowski on the Sunday and second with Riley Herbst on the Saturday. So, we're right there to hitting bets. I didn't take any top 10s, no top 5s, no group bets, nothing. So it was just a outright market weekend, and we were that close, extremely close to hitting the bets. But welcome to the Hot Pass Podcast Friday morning betting show. Make sure to like, rate, share, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. But let's get right into things. I just want to say one thing real quick. I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, and to find out that we decided to take Michael Penix Jr. as a quarterback after just signing Kirk Cousins for like 3 years, $130 million. What the fuck are we doing? Now, people are saying this is like an insurance policy. Take Michael Penix. He's a half decent quarterback. Made it all the way to the national championship. Lost, but at the same time, he had a bunch of fucking injuries when he was in college. But fucking whatever. Kirk Cousins has been prone to getting injuries as well, so it's like he's like our backup. We need a backup because Desmond Ridder and all these other guys were absolute trash when they would come in, and then all of a sudden we would never have a quarterback. So then we just had to just toss one in, and then our whole season was basically done. So just want to say, stupid signing. Could have got anything else. I would rather see you get J.J. McCarthy and just fuck everybody else, and then that's our backup. Instead, you decided to take Michael Penix Jr., who's had continuous injuries. Stupid as fuck. I'm not going to say anything of what else I'm thinking about the reason why they took him, but, whatever. Just stupid Atlanta Falcons. We've never won a Super Bowl, and then we're just going to fist fuck ourselves and ruin our time. Anyways, let's get into the Xfinity bets. I don't have this track, whether it's Xfinity or Cup. We come here once a year. At least in the Cup Series, they race the 1.5 mile package on a 1 mile. It races like a 1.5 mile, sort of. It is a short track, but, it's a tough one. But certain guys race really well here. Now, it's hard to say the development when it comes to Xfinity drivers. The development changes every weekend to every couple months and every year. And depending on the ride that you're in, right? Because those rides change all the time. And there's been a lot of movement in the previous since the previous year. So I'm sitting here and I'm not sure who to take. I'm not going to bet extremely heavy on this weekend. But there's a couple of guys that I think that are consistently good here. And one is Justin Allgaier. I mean, he's a 3-1 favorite. Let me just pull up the odds on Caesars here. He's a 3-1 favorite. And you may be wondering why. I'm just going to pull up what he's done here, and you're going to go, okay, that makes sense. And maybe you should just, I've been thinking of just like betting him outright as one of my outright picks. 3-1 is a little ridiculous. It's not going to change. If he qualifies within the top 5, it's probably going to be about the same. If he slips up or something, maybe try and take a live bet. If something happens, maybe he can get back up to the front. But usually I start up with matchups and top 5s and top 3s, all this stuff. We're going to get to that. But I just want to say, Justin Allgaier is extremely good at Dover. So in his time of 23 races at Dover, he has 16 top 10s, 12 top fives, and 2 wins. No pole, but he's led 514 laps. He's really good here. And in the last couple of years, I'll just dive into this as well. Maybe I'm a little biased because we all love Gator. We all love Justin Allgaier. Last year, they only come here once a year. Remember that. He finished last year third. 2022, it was second. Third in 21. 2020, it was seventh. He won in 2020. And then the list goes on. Second, third, first, second, 11th, third, fourth. Like, continuously good. So you're going to hear about him. I'm going to wait about taking him for an outright, because if he slips up some way, somehow, has to start in the rear, and we get a plus 400, plus 500, I'd rather take that. But it could very well. It's a Gator weekend. All right, so let's just dive into bets, matchups. Certain guys are good on concrete tracks. AJ Allmendinger won in the Xfinity race at Nashville. Now, if you're looking for comparative tracks, Dover's one of a kind. It's kind of like the most comparable tracks are Nashville and Bristol, mainly because of the concrete surface, right? And you'd think the difference between concrete and asphalt, wow, what's the fucking difference? Certain guys show up, and in the Cup Series, Martin Truex is one of those guys. Brad Keselowski, so on and so forth. Those guys show up. In Xfinity, AJ Allmendinger won at Nashville, which is a similar track, not exactly the same, but with that concrete, and he fucking won the race. Coming down, just a one race thing or whatever. He comes down to Xfinity, like mainly for road courses. You don't really expect him to be showing up at a mile and a half in Nashville and winning the race. AJ Allmendinger over Sammy Smith. Now, I was watching last year's race. Sammy Smith, he finished okay. I don't necessarily remember where he finished. I might have his stats up here. Okay. He finished 6th. Now, he was in Joe Gibbs equipment. He's known to be a short track guy, but this race is like a mile and a half. And the junior motorsports cars, other than like Sam Mayer did win at Texas, but he doesn't always drive well on concrete. Justin Allgaier has been half decent on mile and a half, but he's good here and good on concrete. Won at Bristol as well last year. So you sit there and you go, okay, who's good on mile and a half? So also then you have to take in the aspect of concrete. And AJ Allmendinger, if you're gonna have a guy that's 17 to 1 to win the race, so on and so forth, and somebody that continuously shows up on concrete tracks, where Sammy Smith, they're still trying to feel everything out. And I did watch the race last year. The number 8 car with Josh Berry finished second, and then the previous year Josh Berry won the race. Like Sammy Smith doesn't have that experience in the junior motorsports, and junior motorsports, I think this year is still with Sam Mayer's win at Texas is still taking a bit of a step down, and Joe Gibbs has won every race other than every race that's not a super speedway, and then excluding Sam Mayer, they've won every other race. So, there's tiers to this, and junior motorsports should be up there with Joe Gibbs. They're just not there right now, and AJ Allmendinger's history here is actually fairly good. So this is the bet is AJ Allmendinger over Sammy Smith at -115 on Bet365 or Caesars. Sorry, sometimes I forget. I just like getting into the stats and giving you guys all the info without telling you actually what the fucking bet is. So AJ Allmendinger over Sammy Smith on Bet365 and Caesars. But the last 2 races, now AJ Allmendinger's first race was back in 2007. Tossed that way out. That was too long ago. But in 2022, he finished 6th and 4th in 2021. Both times started in the top 10 as well. As I said, Nashville last year won the race. That's a concrete track. Sammy Smith still trying to figure things out, still trying to feel it out. That 8 car should be good here. But until I see more out of that Sammy Smith camp and they're driving more in the top 5, I'll take AJ Allmendinger, who finished well at Texas, cashes a bag, I think finishing 4th. He's competitive in the Xfinity Series always, and I think he can be there at the end, and I think he's going to be there at the end, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But AJ Allmendinger over Sammy Smith, I feel like, is a good price. So no other matchups. I'm going to wait until after practice qualifying to see if we can get a little bit of a spicier matchup, something that I like a little bit more that's not juiced one way or just a silly, too tight of a matchup to really pick a side. So we're going to dive right into the top fives. Now, first one, 5-1. I think it was on Bet365. Carson Kvapil. You may be wondering who the hell is Carson Kvapil if you're an Xfinity fan or you're just kind of tuning into the first time. Carson Kvapil is a short track guy. He races in the Cars Tour for Dale Jr. He's getting opportunities this year in the 88 car in the Xfinity Series, which Brandon Jones is on the hot seat. If he does not fucking perform, I got a feeling Carson Kvapil's coming up to take his fucking position, and that is gone. And Carson will be in the 9. And then, unfortunately, I really like Brandon Jones, but he's going to be looking for a new job. And there'll be opportunities for him. But Carson Kvapil, I think, what was his first race? Richmond. Ended up finishing in the top 5. There's not much that we can say about him. Only because he's so fresh to this. It's his second time driving the Xfinity car. But he's got talent, dude. Hands down, he's got talent. And these Junior Motorsports cars in the past have turned up and finished well at Dover. As I said, Josh Berry previously in the 8 car, and then Justin Allgaier continuously as well. The 5-1 number for a top 5, where he did cash that at Richmond, and then now we're coming here and it's still the same number. I didn't take it at that time because I just wanted to see how he could race. Well, he fucking found his way. He nailed his pits. He did everything he had to do and just be there at the end of the race. No, it was Richmond or it was Martinsville. It might have been Martinsville. That's my bad. It was one of the two. Anyways, I'm not pulling up the stats because that's, we'd have none to even compare to this. I like the 5-1 number. Like, it's a Junior Motorsports car. I think this guy's got a lot of talent. I want to be on this. If he can fucking cash me a top 5, that'd be great. I wish it was, whether it was Martinsville or Richmond, that I had that bet. That would have been feeling so good, dude. But wanted to wait. So Carson Kvapil plus 500 on Bet365 for a top 5. As we talked about, AJ Allmendinger plus 250 top 5. I like that. As I said, AJ Allmendinger finished 6th here in 2022 and 4th in 2021. He won at Nashville last year, just coming down for a quick race at Nashville on a concrete track. I'm gonna, you know what? For you guys, I'm also gonna pull up his Bristol numbers. Maybe they're not the best. I'm not exactly sure. In 3 races, oh my God, all right, confirm it. AJ Allmendinger's winning this race. In 2021, he won the Bristol race in the same fucking car for Colleague Racing. And then in 2022, he finished 6th. So, concrete guy. So, there you go. Top 5, plus 250. He's going to qualify inside the top 10. And this might drift out maybe to a plus 275. I wouldn't say a plus 300. There's no way, but I would get on this now. AJ Allmendinger is going to be good. Could he win the race? Possibly, and we're going to talk about that. But AJ Allmendinger plus 250 for a top 5. We talked about the numbers. He's good on concrete. Boom. Ryan Truex. I'm not bringing up the stats. All I need to say is last year here at Dover, they had the Saturday race for the Xfinity, and Ryan Truex ended up fucking winning that. And then his brother Martin, the race got rained out on Sunday. And then Mondays are for Martin. And we had the Truex combo at Dover. Ryan Truex, I heard on another podcast that he had his shot like 10 over 10 years ago and ended up finishing 2nd here. Last year he ended up beating the second place guy by like 4 or 5 seconds. I feel like that's a play. Minus 105. Ryan Truex, top 5. I wish it was plus 100, but minus 105 is the best number I can find. He's going to qualify well. He's in Joe Gibbs equipment. I think he's in the 20. 19 or 20, doesn't matter what car he's going to be fucking in. It's Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs, as I said, other than super speedways and that Sam Mayer win at Texas, Joe Gibbs has won every other race. He's going to be good here. So top 5 for basically almost even money. Hammer the living shit out of that. I think he's gonna be 1,000% driving inside of that top 5 all day. It's just gonna be, executing the fucking pits. Don't get a pit penalty and get caught up in the back, and then there's gonna be a bunch of chaos. I think he's gonna be there. He's really good here. Both Truex brothers just figure it out here at Dover. And then I talked about Justin Allgaier. Somewhere on your card, his numbers for top 5 are too juiced. I got plus money for a top 3. I think it was on Caesars, I think. I didn't write it down. It was either Caesars or Bet365. I'm pretty sure it was Caesars Sportsbook. But Justin Allgaier for top 3 at plus 105 is a beautiful number. We talked about the numbers. Okay, let me go back. Where the hell are his fucking numbers? Wait, it's this one. Okay. Yeah. I mean, top 3, I don't always like to hit because it's a sweaty one. It's extremely hard, but he finished in the last couple of years. Last 3 years, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. Boom. 2020, they used to come here twice. But in 2020, finished 7th, so outside the top 3. But then he finished 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 2nd. So for 3 straight years, 3 straight years, 2 races in 1 year at Dover, he won the races and or finished inside the top 3. Plus 105. I'm hammering this. It is. I talked to Justin Allgaier at Talladega last week, and he's just like, it's tough. And it's tough to come off a slump after basically almost winning Phoenix and getting it cut right off at the knees. It's hard to come back from that, but we're trying to get back on, keeping our heads on straight and having a couple tough races. Also racing at Talladega, they crash out early on in the race. Very frustrating, but he's coming to a track that he fucking does well. He qualifies okay. A little inconsistent in the last couple of years, but last year he qualified 18th. That's what we're looking for, to be honest. Qualify 18th. Give me possibly a better number, because I'm taking him. Plus 105 for a top 3 is absolutely fantastic. Now, let's get to the outright markets. Carson Kvapil. I just want to have fun with it. 35-1. It's just a little fun. DraftKings and Bet365 have it. Carson Kvapil, crazy long shot. Do I think it's going to hit? No. If it does hit, holy shit. I didn't think he was going to finish in the top 5 at whatever, Martinsville or Richmond, and he did it. If chaos comes, late restart, he could just drive right in there and fucking finish in the top 5. He could end up battling for the win. You never know. If you got to put the bumper to somebody, sick. 35-1 is for a guy that, Brandon Jones is listed at the same number. Now, I love Brandon Jones, but Brandon Jones has ran outside the top 10 a lot. In one race, he finished better than where Brandon Jones should have on the tracks that he's good at. So Carson Kvapil, I'll take him over rather than Brandon Jones. So 35-1 is fun. AJ Allmendinger, 17-1 on Caesars with a boost. Your max bet's $100. I mean, you're crazy if you're betting $100. I mean, you're on a 17-1. God rest you. I love you. All right. Jeez, if you bet like that, that's fine by me. I don't give a fuck. But 17-1 is great for the stats I was giving you on him on concrete tracks. Do I think Chandler Smith is going to possibly be up there? Yeah, but I mean, the guy to beat personally is Justin Allgaier and Ryan Truex. Those two guys. AJ Allmendinger I understand, has not won a race this year, but neither is Justin Allgaier. And the records are pretty good for AJ on concrete. Not as good here like Justin Allgaier, but literally the slightest little tier below that in only 3 races or whatever here at Dover. 17-1 is a great number. With a boost, other places have them like 14-1, 15-1. Take that boost, get a little extra, little sprinkle on there, have a little fun. Usually you don't have to bet, like I don't bet as much money as if it was going to be a 14-1. So you save a little extra money in your pocket, or bet the same and fucking cash out bigger, baby. That's what I do sometimes if I'm confident. That's what I did with Sam Mayer, Texas. How'd that play out? I think it was like 26 units we ended up winning that day. So AJ Allmendinger's fun. And as I talked about it, Gator, Justin Allgaier, 3-1. That's a stupid fucking number. But I'm going to wait till after practice and qualifying. I think that's Friday. The race is super early on Saturday at like 1:30. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good race. So I'll just do a recap real quick. AJ Allmendinger over Sammy Smith, -115 on Bet365 or Caesars. Top 5, Carson Kvapil, 5-1 on Bet365. AJ Allmendinger, +250 for a top 5 on Bet365 as well. And then top 5, Ryan Truex, -105 is available only on Bet365. Everywhere else is like -130 or -150, so take that line. And then Justin Allgaier, +105 for a top 3. Beautiful. I told you the stats. Then Carson Kvapil outright, 35-1, 17-1 for AJ Allmendinger on Caesars. The Carson Kvapil is basically readily available everywhere. And then Allgaier at some point after practice and qualifying. If he looks fast, that 3-1 still going to be there. Hammer the fuck out of it. All in on Gator. All right. Now, let's go to the Cup bets. Okay. This is going to be a quick one. Let me get a little sip of water. If I even have any left. I'm dribbling on myself, bro. This is not good. Right on the brand new Trackhouse sweater. I didn't even tell you what I got on today. It's like $60 US. So like $85, $80 sweater in Canada, but I don't give a fuck. It is comfy. All right, Trackhouse black camo sweater with the big Trackhouse white logo on the front. Goes hard, bro. And, but I'm just going to say an honorable mention for Sunday's race. I really want to take Ross. He's so good here. I think he's like second in like speed rankings here in the last 2 years. The only 2 races we had in Gen 7. But +750. I saw him at 10-1. And I was just crossing the border on Monday coming back. I was like, hopefully it's there in the morning. I'll bet it. Nope. Now he's down to like 7.5-1, maybe 8.5-1 on certain books. And I'm like, he's too inconsistent on qualifying. And when he's good at qualifying on a place, Nashville, he ended up getting the pole and winning the race, which is concrete, as I said, comparable track, but only because it's concrete. Doesn't qualify the best at Bristol. But then last year, qualifying, okay, it got rained out, so they went off the metrics, okay? So don't take last year's. Make sure you guys remember, don't take last year's qualifying into consideration. But Ross, I think, qualified. I don't have it pulled up, but I think it was like 7th the year before. So he figures out, look, when he's good at qualifying at a place, he's good at qualifying. But when he's not, he's absolute dog shit. So if he qualifies bad, then I will take Ross in some sort of way on this play. Whether it is a top 10, a matchup somewhere, or a top, or like outright, if I can get up towards like a 12-1. I just don't like the 8.5-1, the 7.5-1 is too short when you got guys with the records like Martin Truex or Denny Hamlin here. Chase Elliott's good here, and we're going to talk about that guy. Brad Keselowski up and down, but before the RFK car was really good. So it's just he's up there and with the markets like a William Byron who's won a bunch of races this year. Doesn't make sense to me. I understand he's fast here, but that's fucking crazy if you're taking those lines. So let's dive in. I'm going to start off with my matchups, and then we're going to end on we're going to go to outrights, all the way up to outrights. And then we're going to go to the qualifying bets at the end, and then we're going to end the pod. How about that? Hot Pass Podcast. Follow me at @FurlongEric_ on all my social media. And don't forget to go to the link in the bio on Instagram and X and go to the Action Network to find all my picks. Okay, real quick. Just wanted to say that. And then Xfinity and trucks are always exclusive to the Hot Pass podcast. And then I always try and show my betting cards about 30 minutes to an hour before the race. But if you want the early picks, you got to listen to the Friday morning betting show because it's always before practice and qualifying. Okay, that's when you get the early little looks, crazy long shots, and you have to follow me on my Action Network for the cup bets that I place super early on in the week. All right, at @FurlongEric_. All right, let's dive into the cup bets. Matchups. I was trying to find one. Not a lot I liked before practice and qualifying, but I like one. And Kyle Busch has been absolute dog poop. And, don't look at the Texas finish like it was like he's back. No. Okay. No. Chris Buescher, on the other hand, has qualified first here in the past. He's ran really well here. And RFK drivers are, Chris Buescher's won at Bristol. Nashville, off the top of my head, I don't think he performed very well. But Dover, he's performed really well too. He seems to be a concrete guy. He likes concrete. Chris Buescher over Kyle Busch at -125 on Bet365 just feels like a hammer. If Kyle beats me, like raw racing, instead of just I would bet it again, Chris Buescher over Kyle Busch, if Chris Buescher crashes and that's how Kyle Busch beats him. That's the only way. I'm going to continue to do that. The only way I will ever be back on the Kyle Busch train is if he shows us something. Holy shit, he's finished top 5 with raw speed. Till then, it's everybody over Kyle Busch. So Chris Buescher over Kyle Busch, -125 on Bet365. Top 10 market. Trying to find some stuff. Now, Brad Keselowski is like -110 or like a +105. Let me pull up on Caesars here real quick what he is. Because his odds fluctuate. And then I went to a Bet365 and he's +162, like a random number for a top 10. Also, let's address Caesars. Why are we doing everything alphabetical all of a sudden? You guys usually would do that when you guys would pull your bring your numbers out super early on in the week, randomly some weeks, and then all of a sudden everything would be alphabetical, and then boom, you guys would change it back to normal where it's like from who's the highest odds to the lowest, right? Please bring that back because it's such a pain in the ass. So Brad Keselowski on Caesars is +110, but you go to Bet365. He's +162. That seems kind of crazy. I understand in the RFK card he hasn't really performed here. I'm pretty sure I've got his numbers pulled up here. Let me just get rid of all my Xfinity shit. All right? Because I know he's been good here in the past. Okay, get rid of AJ there, boy. All right, Brad Keselowski. Also, almost won at he's had back-to-back second-place finishes. I know they're Talladega, and I know it's Texas, okay? But he's got momentum. Bristol. Until all the tire shit happened, I still think he could have won he was going to win the race, and which is concrete, similar track. We talked about it. But then, obviously, it came down to tire wear, and he's an older guy. He ends up finishing top 3. Brad is going to get a win at some point. I fucking pray to God, and I'm not missing out on it. And I still think that like top 10 at +162, where all the other books have him either minus money or +110, +162 is an absolute steal. I'm taking it. He finished 8th here last year, 20th in the first year in the RFK car. But like his history, he's won here before years ago, about like 12 years ago. But he's gotten a decent amount of top 10s. Okay. So I believe that he can do it. He's a concrete guy. Just need things to go right. And I think with the momentum he's got, he's pissed off about finishing second again. He's coming for a win. So top 10 just seems like a lot. Ty Gibbs, -130 on Bet365 is the best line I could find. I think he's going to qualify well. You're going to hear that in qualifying bets at the end of this betting card. But Minus 130. He ran inside the top 10, up towards even the top 5. A good majority of the year in his rookie season here last year in the 54. He gets this car. We saw him. I think, we can't take too much into consideration with Bristol because of the tire wear stuff. And like he was just, he had pit issues with the tire going down, whatever, a bunch of stuff. But he's been good on these short tracks. Don't forget, like Phoenix, all that stuff. He was really good. And the last couple of weeks has gotten a little quiet, but it's back on the Ty Gibbs train again. And for top 10, that's a lot of spots. And Joe Gibbs' cars race extremely well here. Do I think he's going to win the race? Not at the number. I'm not picking him for the number that he's at this week. He's like 12-1 or maybe like 14-1. I want like a 17-1 or an 18-1. That's what I'm looking for. But for minus 130 for a top 10, he's going to qualify inside the top 10. I have no doubt in my mind that is going to happen. So that minus 130 is not going to be there anymore. I think he's like a minus 200 on some books here. Let me try and pull it up on Caesars here, because usually Caesars has terrible lines. Minus 160. So minus 130. I'm not paying 160 for a top 10, but minus 130 just feels good. Feels like a little value there compared to other books. So minus 130 on Bet365 for a top 10 for Ty Gibbs. I like it. We don't have too much left for the race. Chase Elliott plus 200. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think that he's going to be back. I mean, he won at Texas, which I don't think he had the best car. I think it was like Tyler Reddick or Ross or Denny. But I said at Martinsville, I said it at Richmond, I said it at Bristol. I kept saying it's coming, and his win is coming at Dover, where he's been consistently good. Let me pull up his numbers here. Let's get rid of Brad's numbers here. He's been good here. All right, in the first Gen 7 race, he ended up winning the race. Back in 2018, he also won the race. Last year, after a couple weeks after coming back after breaking his leg, qualified 10th, and then he ended up finishing 11th, which is just outside the top 10. Plus 200 for a top 5 just feels good. He won. He's got that monkey off his back. He's been considerably really fast on these short tracks. Also, mile and a half is not his best, but he shows up on concrete tracks. He's good at Bristol. Nashville, I don't know, but these concrete tracks, some guys have figured it out, and some guys have just figured out Dover, and he's one of those guys. We're going to talk about him in the outright market in a second, but Chase Elliott for a top 5 just feels really good. I think he's going to be driving up there all day. He's going to qualify inside the top 10. He's got a Hendrick pit crew. They're really fast. It's going to happen. So let's go to the outrights. Brad Keselowski, 22-1 on Bet365. He's hovering around 20-1 or 18-1 on other books. I'm not going to say much more. It's Brad Keselowski. I'm going to keep funneling money down into this drain. And then Chase Elliott, 14-1 on a Caesars boost. He's 12-1 on other books. And Chase has won the same amount of races as Kyle Larson. I heard this stats on another podcast. William Byron has won a bunch. And Chase has been really good here in the past, whether it's the previous Gen car or Gen 7. Now I got the hiccups. Great. I think he's going to be good here. And I think he's going to win. 14-1 is a beautiful number. And it just feels right. It's something about how when I said Sam Mayer at Texas, I just felt it in my gut. I was like, he's bringing speed. And I think Chase can do it. He's a concrete guy. So Chase Elliott, 14-1 on Caesars with a boost. I liked it. I like it. So here I'll tell you the main Sunday card that I have so far, and then we'll go into the qualifying bets, and then we'll get out of here. So the card is matchups. Chris Buescher over Kyle Busch, minus 125 on Bet365. Feel good about that. Top 10, Brad Keselowski at plus 162 on Bet365. Ty Gibbs minus 130 as well on Bet365. Chase Elliott plus 200. I think that was as well on the same sports book at plus 200. No top threes. Outright, Brad Keselowski 22-1 and Chase Elliott 14-1. You love to see it. And then qualifying bets. I've got a matchup, Denny Hamlin over Chase Elliott. Now, you may be thinking, this is going to be the sweatiest fucking thing ever. I understand that. We just brought up Chase's numbers there. And Chase qualified 10th last year, coming back off that leg injury, and then 4th the previous year. I just want to say this is going to be a sweaty one. You guys know how I like these sweaty qualifying matchups, all right? Denny. Now, okay, wait a minute. I forgot already. Last year's numbers do not count because of where people qualified, because of the metrics, because qualifying was rained out last year. So you got to take in the 2022 numbers. Chase Elliott qualified 4th. Now, Denny qualified 2nd in 2022. And he's had a history. He has 3 poles here. Okay? Where Chase has 2. Okay? Just want to say. But he's a little bit more inconsistent at qualifying here. Okay? Denny has considerably finished 2nd of a shit ton. And I that's all I have to say. I have no other numbers to give you guys. Just feels like Denny for the pole this weekend as well. Just feel like it feels like something. I wish I could get a Chase Elliott 10-1 or 11-1 to win the pole, because I was going to take that too just to hedge my bet. But he's like 8.5-1. I don't like that. But I just have to say Denny Hamlin over Chase Elliott minus 125. I don't like how juiced it is, but it's going to be fun. I love these matchup bets. There's another one, Denny Hamlin over Kyle Busch at minus 180 on Caesars. I heard it opened up at like minus 140, minus 145. I would still hammer it at minus 180. I told you, until we see something from Kyle Busch in qualifying or race speed, anything, it is everybody over Kyle Busch. So hammer the fuck out of that. And if he beats me, he beats me. Cool. Welcome back, Kyle Busch. But for the poll, final bets of the weekend, until the full card, follow me on my Action Network, all that stuff. Denny Hamlin plus 700 on Caesars to win the pole. Everywhere else has him like 5-1, 5.5-1. 700 is nice. He's won the pole here 3 times in the previous car. He finished 2nd and qualified 2nd here in the first year of the Gen 7 driving in Dover. I like that. I like it a lot. Kyle Larson could easily just go out and beat us. I'll fucking take that loss. But Denny Hamlin's qualified really well here. And then Ty Gibbs. Do I have stats to show it? No. But I think it is a Joe Gibbs playground and Hendrick playground, and it's taking the guy that's the longest out of the Joe Gibbs racing cars to win the pole. I like it. And Ty Gibbs can lay down one fast lap, just like Denny Hamlin, just like Kyle Larson. 16-1 just feels good, and that's on Bet365, where he's sitting at 12-1 or 14-1 on other books. So that's it. That's it for the card. Make sure to like, rate, share, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to get the video uploaded Friday morning or late Friday afternoon. Early or late Friday afternoon, probably is most likely. And then make sure to tune in on Monday as well, and make sure to rate the podcast. Please rate the podcast. There's nothing better than it helps us with, get more views, all that stuff. And make sure to subscribe to the Hot Pass podcast on YouTube, and then also go check out the Action Network in my bio, and share all this with your friends. Never forget. And just don't forget that the fucking Xfinity and Truck Series bets are always exclusive to the Friday morning betting show. But at all times on the Action Network, you can follow me on there so you can get up-to-date live bets during the race, or early on in the week when the lines are opening and I find something, I snag it. You can snag it as well off of the Action Network, okay? So we'll talk to you guys later. Well, follow me on social media at @FurlongEric_ to get all the live updates of what I'm doing. And we'll talk to you guys on Monday. And hopefully, looks like good weather down there as well in Dover. But we cash a bag this weekend. All right? Let's get back up on the highs. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good weekend. Talk to you Monday. See you.